And then you see the state of Israel, and then you see the state of the United States, and then you see people like Asmongold, and you're like, oh, okay, we're just going full idiocracy here. Okay, all right. I didn't even see this, but Kyle Kulinski did a video on Asmongold.
So there's a disturbing trend that I'm witnessing in a lot of places.
Because I have to segue into what's currently happening in the United States and how people like Asmongold have allowed this stuff to happen because they have manufactured consent and have pushed Fox News talking points about it being a bunch of gang members that are being arrested. And obviously, if you are in favor of due process for everyone, it must just be that you love gang members.
Twitch's #1 streamer is a guy by the name of Asmongold. And this guy is...
No respect on Kai Cenat's name. Damn. Oh, I never did watch that clip of Kai Cenat reacting to him being considered a political... Where do people get their news from? It was like, I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about. If anyone still has that clip, I'm sorry I never watched it, but now is the perfect time to watch it.
Wildly popular. And it turns out that as time has gone by, he shifted further and further to the right and became a bigger and bigger defender of the Trump administration. Now, needless to say, that's incredibly disturbing given the trajectory that this administration is on and the things that they're doing. And this has the potential to take, impressionable young men and shift them further and further to the right.
He knows it won't happen to himself, so Asmon doesn't care. I was an Asmon viewer a couple of years ago, and I fully knew he had zero respect for his audience. That he wasn't so fucking unhinged back then. Well, yeah, I mean, like, so I try to understand communities and online sectors and just like everything in general, because I don't think that you can like make things better without understanding them first, right? And I get people that watch Asmongold, and I understand why they like Asmongold. It makes a lot of sense to me. I think he does funny react content. Obviously, funny is subjective here, right? Like, I think Speed is objectively someone who has a lot of... We're shifting gears a little bit, but streamer Speed. I show Speed. I don't watch his streams. I am not super value-tained by his streams, but he's objectively funny, right? Like, a lot of people think that he's funny, right? It's the same thing with Asmongold, right? It's just they want to watch their funny human goblin do his show and be apathetic towards everything. Right? Because they relate or whatever. I get that. I understand the appeal. But the problem is when you're talking about real politics in the real world, you're like, it's hard not to become a giga reactionary person.
The right as time goes by. So now it may be fair to refer to Asmongold as right-wing political streamer, even though in the past he was basically non-political. Right? So I have a couple of examples to cover here with you.
Yes, Kyle.
For some of you in the audience may know who Asmongold is. Some of you may not. I believe we covered him recently because he said something that was casually genocidal about Palestinians and Muslims in general, right? I forget the exact wording of what he said, but it was something to the effect of, look, they're just different. They come from an inferior culture, and no, I don't feel bad for them. And this is in the context of talking about the Israeli genocide on Gaza, where you have minimum 50,000 people killed. Some counts over 200,000 killed, and about 90% of them are civilians. And Israel did a total blockade. No food, no fuel, no water, no electricity, no medicine getting in there. You have women and children are being decimated by this. So we covered it at the time because I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is like disturbing stuff. Well, guess what? He's back, and he's making equally horrible arguments. So let's start with this one. Here's Asmongold talking about, this is censorship in Europe is the first clip. And then you're going to hear his commentary on Mahmoud Khalil in the second clip. Now, Mahmoud Khalil was one of the lead protesters at Columbia against the Israeli genocide. And you'll spot the difference for me. Here we go.
So the government decides what's hateful or not. And whenever they make that decision, they decide to censor you arbitrarily. And people in Europe are okay with this?
It's so funny, dude.
Man, y'all need to throw some tea into the water or some shit. Like, you can't let this happen. Yeah, bro, you're going to let these clowns boss you around. No, we're not? Well, then organize and get rid of them. It's hard to say whether he committed a crime, but there's a higher standard of conduct for people that are green card holders.
That's not true. That's not true. The First Amendment applies to green card holders. And by the way, the White House admitted Mahmoud Khalil did not commit a crime. They said we're not accused.
I mean, the fucking deputy secretary to the DHS couldn't even list off the crime that he allegedly committed and instead had to say, well, we all saw the footage. To which the interviewer said, well, what footage? Can you describe it to me? Or maybe listeners who haven't seen it. I think we all saw what it was. They can't even list it off.
Accusing him of committing a crime. So green card holder, legal permanent resident, First Amendment applies, and they go, we say it doesn't apply, even though we admit he didn't commit a crime. And by the way, he was completely disappeared, zero due process whatsoever. So on every level, he's wrong. The Asmongold in the first clip should be saying the exact same thing when it comes to Mahmoud Khalil and the United States.
It's hard to say whether he committed a crime, but there's a higher standard of conduct
Yes,
people that
Kyle.
are green card holders than people who are naturalized citizens. And he wasn't meeting that conduct, so he's getting deported, hopefully. And there should be? Yeah, they should be. And I support this completely. I hope they do this to more of them. We have enough troublemakers in the country already.
Troublemakers.
Without importing new ones on green cards to start even more trouble. Who needs this?
So let's be clear. The trouble he's referring to is protesting Israel's genocide of Palestinians in Gaza. That's his trouble. His trouble is saying international law matters, U.S. law matters, human rights matter, innocent men, women, and children getting blown up and being starved to death in our name with our money, that matters. We should stop that. That's the trouble that he's causing, the trouble. I'd rather have millions of Mahmoud Khalils here because that's somebody with a conscience who still has humanity and morality. How quickly everybody becomes massively authoritarian when their charismatic cult leader decides, let me do this wildly illegal, unconstitutional thing. It is incredibly disturbing, but I got more. Here's Asmongold celebrating the fact that Donald Trump is warmongering now with Yemen. Here we go.
Today, the fugitive leader of ISIS in Iraq was killed. He was relentlessly hunted down by our intrepid warfighters. His miserable life was terminated along with another member of ISIS in coordination with the Iraqi government and the Kurdish regional government. Peace through strength. His miserable life was terminated. Oh my God. Ordered the United States military launch divisive and military action against Houthi terrorists. Oh no! Luffy's in trouble. Oh no! Oh shit! This is horrible!
Dude, Asmongold makes Kyle vape, dude. Fuck. Kyle's like, no, dude, I need a hit. I need a hit, dude.
Hey, I've ordered the United States military to launch decisive and powerful military action against Houthi terrorists in Yemen. They've waged an unrelenting campaign of piracy, violence, and terrorism against American and other ships, aircraft, and drones.
Why is he speaking so cunty right now? They have waged an unrelenting campaign of piracy, violence, and terrorism. Why was he speaking cunty there?
Powerful military action against Houthi terrorists in Yemen. They've waged an unrelenting campaign of piracy, violence, and terrorism against American and other ships, aircraft, and drones. Joe Biden's response was pathetically weak, so the
Why is he talking like he's serving something that isn't moldy?
unrestrained who just kept going. It's been over a
Burger
year
King, but lettuce, number 15, 16, what is it?
since the U.S. flagged commercial ship sailed safely through the Suez Canal, the Red Sea, or the Gulf of Aden. The last American warship to go through the Red Sea 4 months ago was attacked by the Houthis over a dozen times. Funded by Iran, the Houthi thugs have fired missiles at U.S. aircraft and targeted our troops.
Oh, well, this is on Truth Social. It must be real. No community note. Must be real.
Allies. These relentless assaults have cost the U.S. and world economy many billions of dollars, while at the same time putting innocent lives at risk. The Houthi attack on the American vessels will not be tolerated. We'll be using overwhelming lethal force until we have achieved... Bro, this sentence. We will use overwhelming lethal force until we have achieved our objective. The Houthis have choked off shipping in one of the most important waterways of the world, grinding vast swaths of global commerce to a halt and attacking the core principle of freedom of navigation upon which our international trade commerce depends.
Let's give him a blank map and ask him where the Red Sea is. Now, that would be mean. Okay, that would be mean. Stop.
If warfighters right now are carrying out aerial attacks on terrorist bases, leaders, and missile defenses to protect American shipping, air, and naval assets to restore navigational freedom, no terrorist force will stop American commercial ships. To all Houthi terrorists, your time is up and your attacks must stop. Starting today. If they don't, hell will rain down upon you like nothing you have ever seen before. Oh my God. Holy shit. He's cooking? Yeah. Did he write that? Guaranteed he wrote this. Absolutely. You know he wrote this. Yep, this is what I voted for. Yep.
This is what you voted for? Is this what you voted for? Here's what he said about Yemen during the campaign.
I look at your policies, I
He
see
doesn't even know where Yemen is, dude. Come on, man. He's literally treating this like an anime villain. It's crazy.
secure the borders, bring jobs back. I look at the Democrats and many Republicans, and it's foreign war and foreign expansion.
That's right.
What is that?
I think it's just a failed mentality. It's crazy. You can solve problems over a telephone. Instead, they start dropping bombs. I see recently they're dropping bombs all over Yemen. You don't have to do that.
So during the campaign, Biden's bombing Yemen. What is he doing? You don't have to bomb Yemen. Why would you do that? America first. I always say America first. Then he gets in the White House. I'm bombing Yemen. I'm bombing it way more than Joe. And also notice he reads Trump's statement. It just takes it at face value. Why would I want to double check a guy who's lied literally over 30,000 times in his first term alone? He reads it and just goes, yep, that's the retelling of events that's accurate. Why do you think the Houthis are doing what they're doing, Asmongold? Is it, bro, they hate us for our freedom and they hate us for our values and they hate us because we have, like, the NBA and the NFL and stuff and movies and Hollywood, bro. Why do you think they're doing what they're doing? Have you done any background research on any of this to pontificate like you're pontificating and saying, oh, he's cooking? Oh, is he? The reason the Houthis are doing this is because Israel is doing a
Oh my God. Dude, Kyle is way meaner than me. Oh my God. Is he cooking, Asmon? Oh my God.
Genocide in Gaza. They looked around, saw nobody was doing anything, and they said, holy shit, we want to help protect our Muslim brothers and sisters in Gaza. Look at all these people being killed. So let's do a blockade to make it so goods and weapons cannot get into Israel. That's why they're doing what they're doing. Guess what? When there was a temporary ceasefire that both sides actually abided by, what did the Houthis do? They stopped. They stopped attacking ships, they stopped seizing ships, and they said, you want us to stop doing this? The answer is simple. Stop doing the genocide in Gaza. That's it. That's it. Guess what? When that temporary ceasefire was up, they went right back to doing what they were doing. Right back to doing what they were doing. So if you actually wanted to stop, if you actually gave a shit, if you actually cared, it's, hey, Israel, stop killing tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people in Gaza, 90% of which are innocent civilians. Stop doing a total blockade and cutting off all food, fuel, water, and electricity. Stop making it so that kids are getting shot in the face.
And it's like, it's so bizarre because he pretends like, Asmongold pretends like he understands these concepts that like analysis is not justification. You can't end a war. You can't end a conflict by just pretending like the reason that that any group of people are doing anything is because they're evil. You're not going to end a conflict by just saying, well, these people are evil and that's why they're doing this. Conflicts in the modern world end with diplomatic agreements. They don't end with absorbing entire nations and collecting land like this is fucking Crusader Kings. And you are never going to achieve peace, diplomatic agreements, and peace by just calling the other side evil. And that's why they're doing this, because they hate America, because they hate our freedoms. You will never achieve peace by doing that, because you are refusing to analyze the reasons why these people feel the way that they do. I know it's crazy, but like actually, the brown people in the Middle East are also just people.
Stop making it so kids have to get an arm amputated or a leg amputated with zero anesthesia, so it's the most painful thing you could ever imagine in your worst nightmare. So what Trump is doing here, let's be clear. What Trump is doing here is he's acting as a proxy military for Israel. He's acting as a proxy. What happened to America first? America first. And by that, what I really mean is Israel first. Now, if you say, Kyle, that's unfair, you're overreaching. Why don't you take it from the man himself? Here's what Trump had to say.
You know, the biggest change I've seen in Congress is Israel literally owned Congress. You understand that 10 years ago, 15 years ago.
They literally owned Congress. Now, wait, listen to what he says.
And it was so powerful. It was so powerful. And today it's almost the opposite. You have between AOC and Omar and these people that hate Israel. They hate it with a passion. They're controlling Congress, and Israel is not a force in Congress anymore. It's just amazing. I've never seen such a change, and we're not talking about over a very long period of time. But I think you know exactly what I'm saying. They had such power. Israel had such power, and rightfully, over Congress, and now it does.
And rightfully, Israel had such power. They owned Congress. They had such power, and rightfully over Congress. Why does he say that, Asmongold? Why do you think he's saying that? I'll tell you why he's saying that. He's taken hundreds of millions of dollars from pro-Israel donors. Hundreds of millions. Sheldon Adelson, Miriam Adelson. He's taken it both to his campaign and his super PACs, his PACs, and the Republican Party infrastructure in general as well. They've taken hundreds of millions of dollars from pro-Israel donors. And that's why Donald Trump is bombing the Houthis. It's got nothing to do with America First in any way, shape, or form. That's why he's bombing the Houthis. That's why he said to Israel, you know what? I know the Golan Heights is Syrian territory. I disagree. I say it's your territory. I'm officially letting you annex it. I'm going to let you move the embassy to Jerusalem. Why? Because your donors paid us off. I'm corrupt. You bribed me to do this. Tell me again how he's cooking, Asmongold.
He says it with such vitriol.
Iran. Support for the Houthi terrorists must end immediately. Do not threaten the American people, their president, who has received one of the largest mandates in presidential history, or worldwide shipping lanes. If you do, beware, because America will hold you fully accountable, and we won't be nice about it.
This is Trump being played like a fiddle by Iran, by the deep state, by the way. That's what this is. They told him, they were whispering in his, oh, I think it was Iran that tried to assassinate you, sir. Not a awkward loner virgin groiper who nearly killed you. No, it's Iran is coming after you. And Trump believed it hook, line, and sinker. And now he's primed us for war with Iran. By the way, he ripped up the peace agreement with Iran that was working perfectly. The Iranian nuclear agreement, they abided by it over a dozen times. The IAEA went in there and verified it, International Atomic Energy Agency. And he was told, oh, Iran's trying to kill you, sir. And now he's like, stop, don't threaten me, Iran. Don't threaten me. Being played like a fucking fiddle.
Hell will rain down upon you like nothing you have ever seen before. Man, that's a lot. Content president? Yeah, I guess so, right? Oh my God, base my president. I guess so. And Trump got bumped with the microphone. I saw that already. Yeah, what happened to people? Yeah, thank God. I mean, this is a great thing. I mean, they're fucking terrorists. Yeah.
That's his commentary. They're fucking terrorists. Nobody's having a conversation right now about the Houthis' domestic policies or their extreme social conservatism and their hatred of gay people and all that stuff. What they're doing in this particular conflict is trying to blockade Israel so Israel stops bombing innocent people in Gaza. Period. If you want them to stop, we know how to make them stop. But he doesn't actually care about making them stop. He just, big swinging dick president, bro. He's bombing people, bro. I like it when he bombs people and talks tough, bro. Truly is the content president. Truly is. So I want to show you one more thing.
Dude, Kyle's read is so perfect.
What Asmongold is supporting. Ready? The health ministry in Yemen. And we're doing the same rerun that we did. Remember, they would give the official statistics out of Gaza of the dead, and they'd be like, bro, that's run by Hamas. You can't trust that. Oh, what's that? We've had like a dozen other conflicts where the numbers that came from the health ministry run by Hamas are accurate. Whatever, bro. You can't actually even believe it in this instance for reasons and stuff and things, bro. So they're doing the same thing where they're saying, oh, the Houthis run this, so this can't be legitimate. 31 people killed, including women and children. By the way, this is a conservative number. I've also seen the number 58 floated. I've seen about 118 floated. And one of the things I read is that they also potentially struck a medical facility because he was carpet bombing and didn't give a fuck what he hit. This is what Asmongold is supporting. This is all America first, bro. We're all about America first. Stop the stupid foreign wars. And by that, I mean do more foreign wars. When Trump said no foreign wars, what he really meant was, let's warmonger with Somalia, where Trump bragged about bombing just the other week. Let's warmonger with Yemen and bomb them even though he said the exact opposite on the campaign trail. Let's threaten Greenland and Denmark and Panama and Mexico and Canada and say they're going to be the 51st state, and Venezuela and Iran. Let's have like a dozen countries to warmonger with. Let's steal 50% of Ukraine's natural resources and their minerals as we pretend like we're the fucking saviors. This is what you guys are supporting. You're supporting imperialism. You're supporting colonialism. You're supporting neoconservatism on steroids. All these people.
And like, I don't know if it's worse or better that like Asmongold doesn't even know that he's doing this. Like, he just gets on and says what he thinks the people want to hear, gets rewarded for it, and then like pats himself on the back. Like, there's nothing happening there beyond, well, I'm just saying it like it is. Like, I'm just pushing back on what the current narrative is, because I mean, I think he's delusional enough to think that just having more differing opinions is always better. But the thing is, if your differing opinion is only something that will make the country worse, it is not better to have it. It's like the right-wingers that are like, or even not even the right-wingers, like Joe Biden being like, our country is the best when we have a strong Democratic Party and a strong Republican Party. No, it is not. It is not better. It is not a better country because we have a strong Republican Party. No, actually, there is some discourse that doesn't make the world better. Discourse on like Nazi rhetoric doesn't make the world better. It just makes it worse. When the positions that you are advocating for, when what those lead to is like less due process, that discussion doesn't make the world better. It just doesn't. I
became very fashionable, even on the right, to beat up on George W. Bush and Dick Cheney. Well, idiots, Donald Trump is George W. Bush and Dick Cheney on steroids and human growth hormone. That's what he is. He's taking their warmongering and multiplying it 100-fold. And you all fucking clap like seals. Now, by the way, the reason we're talking about this, look at this, 1.2 million views in one day. A streamer who wasn't political 17 seconds ago now suddenly loves Trump, suddenly loves his crackdown on free speech, suddenly loves his warmongering. I told you guys from day one. There was going to be no MAGA uprising from the base. Oh, you said anti-war things and now you're doing pro-war things. That wasn't going to happen. It's a cult. It's a fascist fucking cult. And this is proof positive of it right here. There's no more ifs, ands, or buts about it. Trump is acting as the proxy military of Israel in this instance. That's what he's doing. In the past, he mocked bombing Yemen. Now he's bombing Yemen way more than Biden. That's what's going on here. And these idiots are cheering it on. It's embarrassing. It's humiliating. It's pathetic. They like the big swinging dick energy of, bro, I'm going to rain hell down on you, bro. Well, congratulations for being duped and hoodwinked into the world's dumbest fascist movement. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and...
God, yes! I mean, it's like, for a lot of people that are on the right, it's all aesthetic politics. It's always been aesthetic politics. It's just, I like the way this makes me look and feel, and I can only react to shapes and colors, so I have to believe in this stuff because I'm a conservative. That's all that it is. That's all that it's always been. And, I mean, I called this out days ago, like maybe even a week ago. Here's the video to this. Here's the link to this video. I called this out, weeks ago, when he was pushing the idea that Mahmoud Khalil should be, in fact, arrested and deported, and that you don't have free speech rights as a green card holder, which is not accurate. Like, it's literally not true. You are on the path to citizenship. You should be treated. Same thing with due process. Oh, we don't need to do due process for some people. No, you're an idiot. You're wrong. We do need to have due process for everyone. Why? Why do we need to have due process? Which I rang the bell on this. I rang the siren on this. Guess what? If you just arrest everyone and say they have gang tattoos, why are you supporting violent criminals being in our country? Hey, fucking idiots. Because then you end up having people like this sent to the fucking worker camps. Tattoos used to justify deporting Venezuelans to an El Salvador prison last weekend. The Real Madrid logo, a clock with the time of a daughter's birth, and the rainbow-colored ribbon of the autism...
morning news lady, smiley face.
Thanks. Autism acceptance movement. These are the violent gang member tattoos, by the way. You have to have due process for everyone. You have to. You absolutely have to. Because when you start repealing or like removing that right for some people, because who cares about those people, you just allow the door to be open for this stuff. Which I sounded the alarms on this. I said it a week ago. It is irresponsible as Asmongold or as anyone else to push this notion that it's okay to deport these people. They literally says that they have violent gang tattoos on them. First of all, is that true for every single person? Clearly, evidently, we now know this is not the case. And there were multiple people with tattoos that were of the brown shade that got thrown into the same camp as the people who had actual gang tattoos. Wait, how does this poster know that the tattoos were the ones that looked... Here's the Guardian reporting on it. Deported because of his tattoos, has the U.S. targeted Venezuelans for their body art. Like many Venezuelans of his generation, Franco Jose Caraballo Tiapa is, sorry for the terrible fucking pronunciation, is a man of many tattoos. There's one of a rose, a lion, another on the left side of the 26-year-old's neck, a razor blade that represents his work as a barber. Two other tattoos pay tribute to Caraballo's eldest daughter, Shalom, a pocket watch featuring the time of her birth, and some black lettering on his chest that spells out the 4-year-old's name. He's just a normal kid. He likes tattoos. That's it. Said Martin Rosenow, a Florida-based attorney who represents the Venezuelan asylum seeker. These are asylum seekers, by the way, who are here with permission. They are not illegal immigrants. For the people being like, well, it doesn't matter. They're still criminals. You're fucking wrong. If you didn't commit any crimes and you entered the United States legally with permission as an asylum seeker, you haven't done anything. You're not a criminal. It's not possible for you to be a criminal because you didn't commit any crimes and you entered the country legally. One of scores shipped to El Salvador by the Trump administration last weekend as part of his hard-line immigration crackdown. Caraballo's fondness for his body art may have been his undoing, for when the father of two was detained by U.S. immigration officials in Dallas last month, they appear to have taken those tattoos as proof that he was a member of Venezuela's most notorious gang. Tren de Aragua. An official Department of Homeland Security document issued in early February reviewed by The Guardian states that, quote, the subject has been identified as a member/active of Tren de Aragua, and although it does not explain how the agents reached that conclusion, the same document notes that Caraballo, who calls it a deportable/excludable alien, has several tattoos and no criminal history at this time. This is the problem with suggesting that some people who have tattoos should be deported without due process. It doesn't matter if they have gang tattoos or not. Everyone should go through the same due process. Everyone. Everyone should go through the same due process. And guess what? If they have gang tattoos and they're clearly an active member of the gang, cool, deport them. No one's going to complain about that. Find me someone complaining about deporting actual gang members. Please, I would love to see one of these people, but that's not what people are complaining about. People are complaining that there are people who are here legally, who did not immigrate illegally, who happen to have tattoos and are being given no due process and were arrested without cause and deported without cause. Also, Rose now continued, Tren de Agua has no specific tattoos. If you see pictures of the actual members that get arrested in the United States, they're shirtless and many of them don't even have tattoos. Rose now rejected the idea that the images inked on to the client's chest indicated gang membership. It's suspicious. There's no basis for this conclusion. Experts in Venezuela who study gangs have all stated that there are no tattoos that associate gang members. It's not like Central American MS-13 gang where tattoos are relevant in their organization. Here is Daniel Alberto Lozano Camargo, a 20-year-old asylum seeker from Maracaibo in western Venezuela, lived in Houston, Texas, where he washed cars for a living and advertised his services on Facebook. His partner, a U.S. citizen called Leslie Aranda, said he was arrested last November after being contacted by a supposed client. She was not heard from since last Friday, when Trump invoked sweeping wartime powers called the Alien Enemies Act to deport people that were considered a threat, such as members of Tren de Aragua, which was last month designated as a foreign terrorist organization. And here are his tattoos. It's like two hands together and the name Denesi on the right arm. Like other Venezuelans who were deported, he has several tattoos. He has the name of his partner's daughter, Denesi, on one arm, and a rose, the name of his niece, with a crown over the letter E, praying hands on his neck, his father's name, and his initials. He also has the date of his anniversary with Aranda, 19 January 2023, and another tattoo that reads, King of Myself. I know his father's name is significant to him because he died when Daniel was young. I also know he didn't really like the rose tattoo because a friend who was practicing did it. Daniel loves art and tattoos, that's why he has them. His mother, who is also in the United States, said they violated his human rights. It's an injustice. He doesn't belong to any gang. Okay, hold up. We're going to do it once. We're going to do it once, chatter. We're going to do it once. Illegal crossing, tattoo of a rape gang, enough for me. Question. I have a genuine question for you. Genuine question. MSUP. In this conversation, we just read that this guy was deported despite not having a single tattoo from a gang. And he's an asylum seeker. That does not make you an illegal, that does not make you from a legal status. You do not have illegal status. Giving asylum to people, you are there legally. I don't know how else to explain this to you. As an asylum seeker, you are here legally. You can look it up. You can look it up. You are here legally. You are not here illegally as an asylum seeker. Okay? So he's here legally and he doesn't have any gang tattoos. His name is right here. It's in the Guardian article. It's right here. So now that we know that he is legally here and he doesn't have any gang tattoos, you retract your statement, of course, right? Now that you have more information, right? I need more info, but what info do you need? Tell me what you need. I understand you need more info. What else do you need? Another article, maybe. Benefit of the doubt goes both ways. Arrest for what cause? They didn't claim that they had a cause beyond he belongs to a gang because of his tattoos, except there are no tattoos that belong to gang members. That was their reason, which was proven to be false. One source is good enough, right? I mean, you can look up their name. Here's another source. Okay, so you agree then, you can agree that he shouldn't have been deported, right? That he had legal status here. He worked at a car wash, and he didn't have any gang tattoos. You agree. And therefore, we should give due process to everyone. See, chat, I told you, okay? Listen, okay? There is always hope. There's always hope. Yes, given your assumptions, I agree. Now, it's like a half concession because there's no assumptions being made. I mean, this is like actual journalism that I'm showing you. I'm not making any assumptions, right? You're welcome to find me something that disagrees, that says that Daniel Alberto Lozano Camargo was actually in a gang and he has a secret. You're welcome to provide that evidence. You're absolutely welcome to do that. But yeah. The problem with saying, I don't give a fuck, deport all the gang members, they don't need due process, is that a bunch of these innocent people who are here legally, who just happen to have random tattoos, are also getting deported. If you belong to a gang and you have gang tattoos and you're here illegally, let me just concede that, or like, let me just like pretend like I agree with this premise to begin with, that I agree that we should even endorse the idea that the problem in this country is immigration. Just for a moment, let's just pretend. Because I think that the problem in this country is a lot of other things, but we're not going to get into that. Let's just pretend for a second that we have to deal with this immigration problem. You have to agree that what ends up happening if you don't provide anyone with due process, you get a bunch of people like this who haven't done anything, who are here legally, and they get punished too. Therefore, we should have due process for everyone. And if you are found to be if you are found to be in a violent gang, then we can deport you, right? If only there was a process to figure out if these people were gang members. If only. Oh, man. No assumptions? I mean, what assumption am I making? Here are some other sources as well. This one's from USA Today. I mean, I think The Guardian is pretty reputable, and they tend to make corrections to their pieces if and when they get things wrong. But yeah. Here's another piece from USA Today and another piece from ABC7. Lawyers say some deported by ICE weren't gang members and they were targeted for their tattoos. And here's showing some of the tattoos from the migrants who were here legally. Due process for how many illegals again? For all of them, because we shouldn't give anyone the abhorrent treatment of assuming that they did something wrong and then throwing them in the brig. Everyone should receive due process. Because if you remove due process for the people that you think are evil and wrong, what ends up happening is due process also gets stripped for people who haven't done anything wrong. Isn't illegally crossing a crime? Okay, I'm going to talk about two different arguments here. One, there are lots of things that are illegal. Jaywalking, for example, is illegal. Do you think if a tourist jaywalked, they should get deported? Of course not. You're not an idiot. You understand that something being considered illegal is not grounds enough. It's about the nature of the crime that you committed. If a French French, we should deport all. Listen, okay, let's say a German tourist comes to the US, they're having a good time and they jaywalk. What, we deport them and without any due process, just send them to the fucking labor camp? No, that would be fucking stupid. That would be the dumbest thing any human being could suggest. You immediately kick out your fucking tourists because they're jaywalking and we don't allow criminals here. That's moronic. No one with any self-respect would ever defend a position like that. Okay, so now that we got that off the table, that crimes are different and we should treat different crimes differently. That someone committing murder, that's a serious offense. I think that you should be deported for that. Someone jaywalking, there's more important things than jaywalking. It is not an inherently violent act to enter a country. I disagree immediately with the premise that illegally entering a country is by nature a violent crime that should be punished by deportation. I disagree on principle. I think the type of crime that you commit matters. I think the type of crime that you commit matters a lot. And again, murder? Yeah, kick those people out. Of course, we already agree with that position. Illegally entering, I think there needs to be a little bit more to justify that as like a crime worth kicking someone out of the country. Sorry, I'm getting a phone call. It's not important. But beyond that, he's not here illegally because he has asylum status. If you have asylum status, you are not there illegally. You are not a criminal. He hasn't committed, and a lot of these people haven't committed any crimes. And they're being deported because we're refusing to give these people due process. Also, despite the fact that there have been Supreme Court cases that state things like due process also cover undocumented people, I mean, we have precedent on the fact that due process extends to anyone who is in the United States. Give me your interpretation of the opposing perspective. It's very simple. Don't enter the country illegally. If you want to be here, go through the normal processes and we won't kick you out. Thank you. Now, can you address what I said since I addressed what you said? Yup, summarize it. These people haven't committed any crimes and they're here legally, but they're being deported for having tattoos unrelated to any gang symbols. They have tattoos of like their daughter's name and of like a prayer symbol and of like a clock with like the date of or the time that their children were born. They're here legally and they haven't committed any crimes and they've been refused due process. You agree that's bad, yes? You agree that we shouldn't deport people for not committing any crimes and being here legally? Based on that article, it's wrong. Yes, Chatter, yes, I love you. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, let's go a step further. Okay. You have to agree then that if there are criminals who are here illegally and they do in fact have gang tattoos, we should just give them due process anyways, because it's really bad that we're deporting people who didn't do anything wrong, who did everything right. We should just give due process to everyone because we're accidentally punishing all of these people who didn't do anything wrong. And if those people did do something wrong, they will go through the legal system, which is very harsh in general, and they will be deported. That is a general rule. It's a good idea to just give people due process. Also, the fact that legally it's protected and the precedent is there, and that's what we're supposed to be doing. No, illegal crossings, gang tattoos is enough for loss of due process. Okay, do you not realize that this type of thinking is why these people got deported? Wait, this is a genuine question. Why do you think these people got deported? Despite the fact that finally gotten in contact with lawyers and the lawyers have been able to defend these clients and say that these people don't have any gang tattoos, they haven't done anything wrong, they're here legally. Why do you think this is happening? They're trolling, they're not trolling. They have the Texas flag and the Texas map. That's not a troll. Trolls used like peepos. Rape, murder. Did you cover any of those articles? You're going to have to be a little bit more specific. None of these people committed rape or murder. Why do you think these people were deported? None of these people have committed any crimes or have done any rape or murder. These are people who have like spotless records. They haven't committed any crimes. These people specifically. Sorry. Let me be more specific. Maybe my question was confusing. Specifically, like for example, this man, Daniel.
This chatter had crossed the border illegally and has gang tattoos. Can I send them to El Salvador? And how can they stop that from happening without a right to due process?
I understand where the confusion happened. He's saying that there are other people that have done this. I'm saying, why do you think this guy? How do you think it happened that this guy got arrested and got deported? Specifically this man, who has a spotless record, who is here legally, and who does not have any gang tattoos. He just simply has tattoos. Why do you think this has happened? What factors have come together to make this happen? I didn't say anything about this guy. Yeah. I know. I understood what you got confused about, what was miscommunicated here. I'm saying this guy specifically. Can you answer that question? Why do you think this guy got deported? Because I think that the people who, this is my personal read, this is my opinion. I think the people who defend the position against due process haven't thought about why bad things happen to people who haven't done anything wrong. And I'm hoping that maybe considering, wait, why did this happen? How did our system fail so badly that this guy who didn't do anything wrong, who was here legally, who his crime was just like having a tattoo of his daughter's name, how did he get deported? What went wrong in our system that this guy got deported? It's unfortunate. It's someone unfortunately swept up in an otherwise good positive. It's a net policy. It's net positive still. Okay, do you think if we death penalty 100 murderers, it's okay if we also death penalty one person who was innocent? Because it was a net good policy overall. Nope, it's not, but it's not comparable. Why? Why is it not comparable? Oh, I'm so curious. What's the reason? Sentencing? Would that be the reasoning? That the punishment is severe? Because one lead said, okay, arrested for 20 years. If we get people who, I don't know, fucking rob banks, we get 100 of them, but we accidentally arrest one that didn't rob a bank. Is that a good policy? And they we accidentally arrest you, Chatter. You also get arrested for 20 years and you have to sit in jail for 20 years. And then eventually it's like, oh, we're sorry. We didn't realize you weren't affiliated with the bank robbers. Do you think that would be still a good policy? Because we did get 100 bad guys who couldn't do any harm. You also just happened to get punished for it. Change the number to a number you think is fair. 5 years in prison. 1 year in prison. Do you think that that's a good system?
Try telling the innocent people that got deported to a labor camp that this was the result of good policy.
I'm thinking, oh my God, I love you. You are so dope, man. You are dope. You are the reason I do this. You are the reason I read chat messages and I try. You are the reason. You are the reason. Chat, we should all be encouraging this type of behavior. We should be positive about this type of behavior, okay? Do you know how infuriating it is to try and talk to a chatter and then they immediately go to like, oh, you're a stupid, dumb liberal. And then they just get mad and then call me some fucking slur and then they leave. It's so infuriating. It's like, dude, can't we just have a conversation? So like, actually, God bless you, chatter. God bless you. The point that all of us are making is not that we love gang violence. That's fucking stupid. No, it's that if one innocent person gets punished, we should just give everyone due process. It's not fair to those people who haven't done anything wrong. You can't just say, well, it's a good policy, it's a net good, because what if you were the person who got punished and you didn't do anything wrong? You did everything the way that they told you to do it and you still got punished. Like, that sucks. That's not good. That's the reason why, again, we have legal precedent. There's Supreme Court cases on this that everyone in America should be given due process. Doesn't matter if you're an immigrant, doesn't matter if you're here illegally, doesn't matter if you're a tourist, doesn't matter if you're a green card holder or a visa holder. You go down a bad path when you start saying, well, it's okay if we don't give some people due process. The fair, just thing to do is to make sure that everyone gets tried the same way. That if you didn't do anything wrong, you can take it up with a court and say, whoa, 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 whoa. Listen, you want to arrest those gang members? It's fine. Deport them. I don't care. I haven't done anything. I wash cars, man. I have a tattoo of my daughter's name. Yes, I'm brown. Correct. But like, I didn't do anything, Your Honor. Like, look, you can check my entire criminal record. I have been a great citizen. I've only contributed positively. I pay my taxes. Please. And in a just system, that person would be able to make their case to a judge or to a jury. I think it would be to a judge. And a judge would say, oh, yeah, sorry, you're not one of these people. We're not trying to go after random civilians and citizens who don't do anything wrong. You're free to go. Sorry about this headache for you. Sorry about this. And the people who try and do that, but they are part of gang violence or gang members or whatever, they are a gang member, they get put in front of a judge and the judge is like, hey, well, you do have this tattoo and here's your criminal record. We have to deport you. There's no case here. That's good. That is a good system. There's a reason that this is our current system, and there's a reason why it is good for us to do this. Due process, due process goes hand in hand with innocent until proven guilty. Okay, that's it. That's all I wanted to do. Oh my God, this is such a great stream. Oh my God, I'm on cloud nine right now. I'm on cloud nine. I got to. Oh my God, dude. Oh, I've been wanting to have a good conversation with someone just for like ages now. I feel like I'm so fulfilled. I'm so happy. Oh fuck.